So recording has started. So in lieu of questions from folks, I thought I would just go through and look at some differences between the web client and the desktop client. I've got the screen up here. I just did a search, title Bad Hair Day, and looking at something that I could possibly change. Here's one that looks like it has a couple issues going on, and it'll just give me an opportunity to look at the bib record. So I'm going to click on it. It's not displaying the large print icon, and also it looks like the punctuation is a little strange in the title. So I brought the record up. One of the differences with the web client versus the desktop client is a lot of these particular tabs were buried under actions, and now they are easily seen tabs, so we can get right to the Mark Edit here. All right, this looks pretty much the same. You have the opportunity to choose the flat text editor versus the Mark editor that you see on the screen right now. And whatever you're more comfortable, obviously you can use the flat text editor. Does not show this fixed field type box, so that's one disadvantage of the flat text editor. But the flat text editor, let me just select that. That allows you to more easily remove fields that aren't necessary. Like I'm looking down here at these 900 fields. The 994 and the 945 aren't necessary, so I'm going to remove those. And then I can switch back to the regular editor very quickly. Okay. So one of the things I see up here in the fixed field area, the lit F shows a pipe, which is incorrect. So I can actually right-click on that and see my options. And what I want to do is I want to specify fiction for this one. So I can just highlight that and it populates the field for me. Another thing I noticed here was this extra slash or diagonal. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that. Okay. The other thing I had mentioned was that the large print icon did not display, and that's because this form field was not filled out for large print. If I right-click on that, you can also see that this gives me values, and I can select the large print. And one of the things I wanted to demonstrate was the fact that navigation is a little bit different in this editor than it was in the desktop client, and it takes a little getting used to. Some of the shortcuts still work. If I click on the 902 field and want to get rid of it, I can do a Control-D. It removes the field, but the cursor usually ends up in a different place. Like if I'm trying to remove multiple lines at the same time, you have to watch where your cursor is to make sure that you're not getting rid of the wrong line. I'm going to go ahead and navigate. This is an older 999 field left over from migration, and I can get rid of some of these extra fields just by highlighting it and doing a Shift Delete, and it gets rid of, I just want to make it more simple. Okay, we no longer need the subfield F for these type of things. If you're wanting to add things to the record. A lot with this new web client, the tab is your friend, because if you want to get to the next area and type in something different, especially if you're adding a new field, you'll need to tab to the next portion of the field. And I'll see if I have an example of that later. Just wanted to kind of touch on that initially. Any questions so far? Okay. I am going to go ahead and save my changes. Okay. If I go back to the OPAC view, you notice that it hasn't it didn't make any changes. And in order to see the changes, I need to refresh the screen. Now you see that the large print icon is displaying, and we don't have that extra slash in there in front of the subtitle. If I want to go back to my search results, well, it's not letting me. That circle with the line back through it is an indication that this is not active, but I can click on the back arrow. It takes me to the search screen. I can type in bad hair day again if I want that to be my search. The navigation, the back navigation works in a lot of places, but I haven't quite figured out when it doesn't and what the case scenario is for that, but I know I've been able to use it quite a bit successfully. Any questions? Okay. Let me just scan down through and see if there's any other records I want to look at. This one is a little curious to me because it's showing both the videotape icon and the book icon, and it might, it is a video cassette. So my guess is that it comes with a book as well. But I see some punctuation right here that I thought, well, it'll give us another opportunity to dig into a bib and navigate around. I'll click on Edit. Okay. So we see here that there's an extra semicolon that serves no purpose. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that and the extra space. Okay. So, the reason it's showing up with both a book icon and a VHS icon is because the mark type is wrong. This should actually be a G for video recording. And so it picked up that A and displayed a book icon as a consequence. So let me go ahead and save that. It had the 007 for the VHS, so that was good. All right, so I saved it. I'm going to go back to OPAC view. It hasn't changed. I'm going to refresh. Okay, and now it has the correct icon, just the VHS icon, video recording, the punctuation's corrected. So obviously I'm digging into a lot more little mistakes than you guys would be, but I just wanted to be able to kind of show you the bib.
Hey, Beth.
Yes.
It's Lisa. Would you please, what I have found is when I switch between the video or the kit and then plain anything that's got 4 lines compared to 3 columns, rows, I mean,
Yeah.
if you can you open the bib back up and see, because it starts placing weird characters in the 4 versus the 3.
Okay.
And
And
so I check to clean that up too.
yeah, and it does look things are out of place. So good thing mentioning that, Lisa. And I don't know whether um, that's a bug. I'm guessing that's a bug with the web client. So let's see, date.
And sometimes I've had to actually close the window and reopen it to get it to show the 4 lines or the 3 lines, whatever I've switched it to. It doesn't immediately recognize that it switched the pattern.
Yeah.
So anyway, just to be aware, it's not a big deal if you make sure.
Yeah, and here again, let's see if a refresh is going to make a difference with that mark edit. Nope. So yeah, I think that's an outstanding bug. I'm gonna see if we can affect some of these. Well, I don't want an S because it's not a single. Let's see, we have 1997 and 1996. So let's right click and see what our options are. We have a publication date. Publication date and copyright date. All right, John, would this be a better case for a P or a T?
So let's see. I mean, the dates are fairly close together,
They are.
which makes me think it's a T, but if the go down the record just a little bit,
Sure.
if you would, and I'm just curious what. So we have, okay, so it looks like it was aired, you see WGBH television station. And then that's going to be a different time of the airing than when the film was distributed. So that leads me to think it might be a P. Because if you go back up to P, the difference is you have the distribution release issue, which would be the film, and then the production recording session, which is when they filmed it for broadcast. So I think in this case it's a P.
Okay.
Did that make any sense at all?
It did. And
Okay.
I really appreciated the evaluation. So the first, it would be 1997 and then 1996. Our time 030. I don't do a lot of movie cataloging, so I have to. Okay, let me go ahead and save that. Yeah, it's still. Those of you who do movies on a regular basis, how many lines does this normally take up?
4.
4?
You mean the top part?
Yes.
The fixed fields? Yes, 4.
Okay.
And it seems like the TMAT never transfers over nice either. The down, yeah, that one.
Okay.
Did it do it nice this time?
I don't know. What are the TMAT values?
I'm sorry, I have a piece of paper that I refer to.
That's fine.
Sorry.
I think it might be V for video recording, but I'm verifying that as I say it right now.
I'm doing a quick Google search for TMAT. Okay, and V for video recording. Very good, John. Okay, oops. So back to over here. So we're going to do V. GPub. That's another one. I don't believe there should be a value in here at all, because GPub should be government publication, correct?
Yeah, I think you're right.
So I'm going to go ahead and remove that. And the country and language obviously are incorrect. We're going to do English. The country is New York, so NYU. The audience, I believe that J that was in the country was supposed to be in the audience for juvenile. All right, anybody see anything else that I have missed? Description doesn't have right-click functionality. So let me just do a quick look at description. Oh, that just corresponds to what we are doing. And I'll just type an A in there if there's not already one there. Okay. What was you, just out of curiosity?
It may have been
Unknown.
the last of NYU.
Oh, yes, yeah.
I wonder.
Probably. So we won't take any, I guess we don't need to assume that they wanted you there because of the way things were screwed up in the 008.
And I think you'd have an L, or not an L, an A for tech, for animation, I think.
Okay, wonderful. Is that a right click? Yes, yay. Okay, so we've made lots of improvements to this 008. Okay, do we want to add a genre heading to this record? Any ideas of what a genre heading would be?
There may be one for animated television programs. I can look that up in the thesaurus.
Okay.
Be sure. Sorry, Beth, I'm kind of...
No, there is one for animated television programs.
Is there?
And yeah, there is. I think it's LCSH.
Okay, so if it's LCSH, it would be a 0.
Is that right? Right.
There's
You might
also
double
one
check
in the
that.
genre form, also. LCGFT, There's also one there too. I'm sure it's either would work.
Thank you. That was what I meant. Thank you.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
I have none of my notes. I'm so sorry. I am unprepared for this conversation. I'm sitting at home on my computer,
Hey, we are
racking my brain.
We are winging it. It's not a problem. And this is educational
right.
for everybody, because these are the kind of things that we think through when
And we need to look up. Yes.
And we need to look up. So, so did we determine that it was a GSAFD?
LCGFT, I think.
Okay. Let me go ahead and type this in. So one of the things that I was talking about earlier with navigating in this new web client, and I think some of this will change in the future version, it'll be improved. There's a lot of tabbing that you have to do to get to the next field. What I'm expecting is that from feedback with catalogers, the Evergreen developers are going to say, oh, they've typed in the subfield, automatically take them to the next field to fill things in. But right now that's not happening. So you have to tab over and, okay, remind me what the genre heading is.
There's one for animated television programs. There's also one for children's television programs if we want to be overachievers.
Oh, what's wrong with being overachievers? So I'm going to add a subfield 2, right?
2.
Okay, so I did a a Control D to add a subfield. I'm putting the 2 in there, and now I have to click on Tab to get to the next, to actual data portion of the field. And so this is where I would put it in. Remind me, L.
C.
Library of Congress.
GF, right. GF, genre form.
Okay.
T, thesaurus.
Thesaurus. Okay. Wonderful. So, and the reason that the subfield 7 is here is that means that we are giving the source of the vocabulary, and that's why it's 7. Okay, and we wanted to add another 655-7. So when I click on add a new field, it automatically populates it with 999, and you just have to double click on it to change it to what you want. I'm going to tab over to the second indicator field, type a 7, tab over to here, tab again, and it was children's.
Yeah, children's television programs with apostrophe though.
Yeah, I was going to go back. Television programs with an S.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and apostrophe. Okay, and I'll put my cursor back at the end, do a Control D to add a subfield, 2, tab again, and the same thesaurus.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, wonderful. Now, what we could do is these blue links correspond to, we used to right-click in the desktop client, and in the web client, instead, they are links. And so what it does is it does an authority search for you when you click on this. So we could click on this right now. And it takes a little bit of time to populate, and then we can look for our field. I'm trying to remember which one I clicked on. I think I clicked on the animated television programs, didn't I? So it's possible that we don't have this particular genre heading in our catalog. We don't have an authority record for this genre heading. So I wouldn't worry about it at this point, especially since we had people looking them up. But I wanted to indicate to you what these blue buttons were all about. There is also a blue button up next to the 007. It's got a different icon, but that is how you go into the 007 wizard and make any changes that you need to change. Or, yes. Okay. Any questions before we move on? I haven't been keeping up with the chat. Okay. Looks like we're good. I'm going to get rid of this extra 852, this 900. Okay. And I'll click on Save again. Okay, we've reached the half-hour point. I'm willing to stick around if folks have additional questions. We're going to be having more of these web client sessions, but I want folks to feel comfortable with navigating around. See, what else can I look at? Mark View, pretty standard, just displays the mark coding but can't do anything. View holds has to do with circulation. Monographic parts, holdings view. This is where you can get to the particular items. If I change it to Sage, you can see that Ontario Community Library has this. And if I needed to edit their item, or they did, this is one of the places they could go to do that. And once you click on it, under Actions, you have all sorts of possibilities. You can show the item status. Most of the time in here, you're going to want to click on Edit Volumes and Copies, and that takes you to the volume and copy editor for this particular item.
I think some of the things that are good about it are so good, and the things that aren't working right are really, really time consuming. But other than that, I've enjoyed learning the different things and exploring the different buttons. So thanks for the extra help on it.
Oh, you're welcome. And we'll continue to do these sessions. And like I said in the session yesterday, my main focus is getting folks comfortable with this before we upgrade in the winter. And I'm not demanding that everybody use this exclusively. If you've got, if you're swamped and you need to use the character-based system to get productivity up, that's fine. I just want to make sure that you're spending at least some time in this web client so it's not so strange when this is all we have. So anyway, thanks for joining the session today, and we'll meet again soon.
Thanks, Beth.
Thank you.
Thanks, Beth.
Thanks, Beth. Thanks, John.